Hello, beautiful people. I'm feeling a little tired, even though I do have some weird internal energy from the steroids that is supposed to last through tomorrow. I should feel great, they say. And then Wednesday is supposed to be the bad day where it all comes to a head. But with the low-dose chemotherapy, it's only really supposed to be bad for a day or two. So thankfully on Wednesday, I don't really have to do a lot of driving, no soccer practice, no music lessons, none of that. So my battery is going to die, so I want to get through this semi-quickly. My first day of low-dose metronomic chemotherapy. So, it's been a long day. I don't know where to start. I was running late, which sucks, but they were so running late at the clinic that they didn't even notice. So I was stressed out for nothing, which is my lesson. If you can't change the events, there's no reason to let them stress you out because you can't change it, right? So next time, one, I'm not gonna be running late. Two, I'm not gonna stress out about it. I was driving like a mad woman. You can ask Chad that. Sorry Leva. Anyway, so got all checked in and they took a while to kind of get me going. They led me to this room, which is basically the clinic I go to. Is just like one infusion room. It's a small place and it's literally packed. I see one seat available. And this is where Chad doesn't get to come with me because they're too busy today. So for my very first chemo, I didn't get to take my person, my support. And I literally, she started to walk me in the door and she said, "Hey everyone, this is Michelle." And everyone said, "Hi Michelle." And I froze and I turned around and walked right out. I looked at Chad and I said, "Okay, I can't do this. I can't go in there alone. I can't do this." And I could feel the lump in my throat just like building up. And I had to take I knew that I had to do it, but I never expected to hit that wall in that point where I wanted to run away and change my mind. And maybe if it was a private room, it would have been different, but I felt so overwhelmed seeing more than a half a dozen people sitting in chairs and just this tiny little room and people walking around and it's busy and they're ready to welcome me, but I'm not ready to be there. And I didn't get to have my person, the person I wanted, with me. And so, and then I could tell it really bothered him. I could see in his eyes that he was really nervous for me. And so I just sucked it up and I just went to the bathroom, took some deep breaths and reminded myself why I was there. And I said, "Okay, try it again." So I gave him a hug and kiss goodbye. And he said, "I'll be right in the waiting room if you need me." And I went in and sat down in the empty seat, and actually there was one empty one next to me, but it had someone's stuff in it already. And turns out I ended up sitting next to a woman who was cold capping, which I was a little jealous of at first, but then after seeing everything she went through to cold cap every 20 minutes with her partner, and you've got 4 minutes to swap them out. Anyways, long story short, I am so glad that I am not cold capping because it seemed uncomfortable and stressful, and my hair is not worth that. Y'all, not worth it at all. So I'm cool with not cold capping, but I sat next to her. We had the same exact thing pretty much, and we were getting the same medicine. So she had it for the first time last week. She was able to tell me exactly like how she felt the first day, the second day, the third day, fourth day. It was just a blessing to sit next to Beth today and meet her. She came down to Tukwila from Bellingham. For those of you who are not locals, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But she came down about, I don't know, 1 or 2 hours. No, it must be 2 hours at least. I'm not sure exactly. Just to go to this clinic with her boyfriend. People actually are traveling, I found out, from Texas, Hawaii, around the world to come see Dr. Chen at the Seattle Integrative Cancer Center. So I just feel so blessed to have him. Anyway, so I get seated. It took a while to get them started. They were so busy. And they just start me with a blood draw. They have to draw my blood, and then they have to send it off and check my baseline. But because it was my first chemo, they weren't worried about my last levels being bad. They started me anyway because they're they had some issues with their own local CBC machine not working. They have to send it off to a lab. My results still aren't back, but it was like, it was crazy because it's pandemonium today. It was like the busiest day they've ever had. They have a whole new system in place. So it's kind of funny, like the chaos I kind of walked myself into, but I dealt with it really well. I'm kind of seriously proud of myself today. I was able to sit there and be calm and get my, so finally they start me on my anti-nausea, and which I've never had anti-nausea medicines before. Even when I was pregnant, I never really got nauseous. So they gave me those. I didn't notice anything. Then they gave me the steroid, which I should have the list in front of me so I can be super helpful for all my YouTube watchers out there who are following my journey and tell you. And I will have to do a follow-up video now and I'll put it in the comments or something. When I put this on YouTube, I'll put it in the comments, the steroid that they gave me. And then they gave me, so it took a while. I was there from 12 to, I mean, right now I'm home, it's 8. We did stop at the grocery store on the way home, so it was a really long day. I felt so bad for the gal cold capping because she had to cold cap so much longer than she expected because of the delays, and they were just so busy. And anyway, so came time, y'all saw the picture probably of that red angel, they call it. Quite inappropriate for a chemo drug. And they push it manually, so every minute she has to push like another, I think, like millimeter until she gets the whole fat syringe in me. And that's the first time I felt anything, and I could feel the rush. I'm super in tune with my body. Like I feel myself ovulating, TMI, right? So I'm very in tune with my body, but at the same time I feel like I'm like really strong and resilient and like can handle pain well. I've had 3 home births, if that gives you any clue. Not bragging or anything, but I'm in tune with my body. I have a high pain threshold. She was even surprised when I told her not to numb my port here, to do everything. Like I've only had it numbed once out of 6 times that it's been accessed so far. She was like shocked by it. Anyway, so I did get a little bit of anxiety because it was the first thing that felt real. It started to feel really, really real, and just to see the red go in me and feel kind of flushed and my heart beating a little bit fast and just felt a little woozy, and my whole body just kind of felt fuzzy. And I turned to Beth next door and I was kind of telling her about it. She's like, I felt the same way. She's like, I feel everything too. And she's like, don't worry, it'll only last a few minutes. You'll be okay. It didn't last too long, maybe 20 minutes or so. And then they started on the second. So that's the red angel, which is also, I think, the I can't remember. Sorry, I'll have to, again, put it in the notes. Epirubicin. And then she started me on the Cytoxan, which is a common chemotherapy drug for breast cancer. Valley was going to give me Cytoxan, but full dose. And so Cytoxan both and Epirubicin they both make your hair fall out. So I've got a kind of a double whammy there, but it's low dose. So Dr. Chen told me it could be 4 weeks before my hair starts falling out. So I may be traveling here to my next work trip, hustle and grind with hair still. We'll see. We shall see. I put some essential oils on my hair today. A lovely friend of Chad's, and I know his name. Why is it escaping right now? Sent me, he's got a baby beard company, and he sent me a bottle of essential oils, and I rubbed it all on my scalp today before I started chemo, just for the heck of it. Why not? And I put it on my eyebrows. So I can hopefully preserve my eyebrows if I can. What else? So I got my hour of Cytoxan, and then they give me something called FU5, which is like Fluorosil or something, and it basically increases the half-life of the other chemo drug. And then the whole time I'm getting hydrated as well, so they've got hydration in me, and it gets to the point where she's telling me I've got to start drinking cold water, and my mouth is starting to get dry, and she said the cold water is going to help with mouth sores, and I need it to be ice water, and I gotta like keep drinking cold water, rinse with cold water, rinse with baking soda, all of that good stuff. And then here it is, maybe a couple hours after the last chemo push, and Chad and I went to Whole Foods to get some stuff for dinner, and I was feeling my throat just like close up on me. Like literally, after the cashier rang up my coconut water, I'm getting thirsty thinking about it. I like snatched it up and like cracked it open like I was desperate for a drink. So she wasn't kidding about that dry mouth. What else can I say to wrap it up? My first experience, talked to some really cool people, everyone kind of in different stages, different cancers, and just really lovely. And I didn't bring I got a little goodie bag. I think I'll do an unbagging of my goodie bag. There was a lady there with breast cancer. She's also, I think, part of a Facebook group and maybe something else for Dr. Chen and maybe another organization, Warriors in Pink or something. And she gave both Beth and I this like welcome bag, I guess, just like a care package. And it had like, I peeked in it. It had some, just little comforts like a pillow, and I pulled out some ginger chews and some peppermints, which is good for nausea. And I saw some other things in there, like some colored pencils and like a beanie hat to wear like your head gets cold or you lose your hair. And anyways, just really sweet. I felt very welcome. I felt everyone was so warm. My nurse Sue, she was just amazing and friendly, an Asian gal, who herself has had a double mastectomy, and that was in 2003. And Dr. Chen is her doctor, and everyone speaks so highly of him. And I just feel so good about my choice, even though it's chemo. And I talked to Beth about this. I keep looking this way because she was sitting on my right when we had chemo together. And we talked about, you know, she was doing natural since 2015, and she kept getting rid of it, but it kept coming back. So she's trying something new. And she has the same form of aggression as I do with her breast cancer. So she just wants to take it to the next level. And it was nice to talk to somebody who understood so much of what you're going through. And, you know, we just kind of talked about how you have to get to that point of acceptance. You can't believe the chemo is toxic and poison, even though it is. And the side effects are scary, like heart damage, leukemia, and other things I don't even want to say. But you have to get to a point where you are acceptance and you believe that it is going to help you. And so you can just be okay with it, and so you can thrive. And so your mind is powerful. You want it to work, and you have to be in that place, even if it's fighting against everything you believe in, you know? So it was this crazy, scary, beautiful experience. And it's funny because I thought I was going to be starving. Oh, my thing's blinking. I hopefully don't run out of time. And I'm not really that hungry right now. Kind of lost my appetite, which is so weird for me. I love eating. Even when I'm fasting, it's so hard. I'm gonna go make some zucchini noodles, pesto, some tomatoes. I got myself some coconut macaroons because chemo day, you can have sugar. You actually need to kind of like activate your cancer and make it like come alive and be active, as weird as that sounds. So okay, round two. Shoot, it's gonna get cut off for Facebook here, but I'll piece it together on YouTube. So just finishing up with, for 48 hours, the chemo circulating in my body. I have to flush the toilet twice when I go to the bathroom. No being intimate. Hugging's okay. Don't let my puppies lick my skin. And rinse out my mouth. And then after the 2 days, when I go back on my keto / fasting, intermittent fasting, until I get to my next chemo day. And then that's my sugar day. And we'll do this for 12 weeks. Hopefully my body does well. It responds well. I stay well. And I keep my spirits up. And I don't feel as bad as I could. I want to talk about a couple side effects that I've just barely experienced. Not really nauseous. Little teeny bits of it, a little wave here and there, no big deal. But we were sitting in the car waiting to go into Whole Foods, and I felt these pins and needles in my hands. So if you know what neuropathy is, you know what I'm talking about, where your feet and hands can get pins and needles and kind of get tingly and loose feeling. Well, with low-dose chemotherapy, it usually doesn't happen very often, and especially not after day one. And I'm sitting there and I feel hot little, the tiniest, like I said, I'm very in tune with my body, okay? So most people probably wouldn't notice, but I notice. I'm gonna feel little pinpricks at the tips of my fingers, kind of hot, like hot little pinpricks. And I'm just like, wow, already neuropathy? So I might have to consider what is it called? I don't know. You wear cold gloves and on your hands and cold socks on your feet. And that's supposed to help. I have a friend who's offered me some, so I'll have to. Dang it. So my phone is full. My memory is full. I have an extra chip in it and everything. Apparently 2,000 pictures and videos is too many. Okay, so I know I've gotten cut off a couple times here. I might not be able to get it all on Facebook, but for YouTube I'll piece it together. Anyway, I just was talking about cold capping for my hands and feet. Since I got a tiny little signs of neuropathy in my fingers, hope maybe it won't happen again. Maybe it'll be just that and it will be nothing else. Like I said, I was saying I can't complain. I feel really blessed, and I just want you guys all to know that I appreciate your love and support so much. And anytime I read a message or see that you've loved a post, and it just really warms my heart, and I'm going to do my best to get back to every single one of you, because you took the time, and it just makes me feel so good inside, and it makes me want to be that for everyone else. And if I don't get back to everyone tonight, I'm just because I've crashed and I'm still good. I'm going to go help Chad make some dinner, and I think my phone battery's really low, so the camera lighting's really low. Sorry. I'm gonna wrap it up and just say that's a wrap for chemo day 1. I will do another video diary tomorrow and see how I feel. Supposedly I'll feel great still, so we shall see. Love you guys. Peace out.